Today on Fintech Frontiers, we're excited to welcome Borislav Sabev, CTO of Parachut.com. Borislav is a seasoned technology leader with deep roots in fintech and insurance tech, and a strong track record of building scalable platforms and high-performing teams. With a background that spans everything from payment systems to digital insurance solutions, he's passionate about solving real-world problems with clean, purposeful solutions. We're looking forward to diving into his journey and the innovations happening at Parachut.com. Borislav, welcome.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure talking to you.
Likewise. So, Borislav, could you tell me about maybe a little bit about yourself and Parachut.com? What is the big problem that you're solving in the market today, and how did you get to that?
Yeah, so to be very few words about myself, basically I'm a tech geek since I was 5 years old, and I ended up in the web programming. And somehow it happened that I specialized in payments and payment systems. Throughout my career, I actually landed on a few opportunities to work with payment processors and really handle such systems closely with the banks.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm here today. So about
Great.
15 years later, 15 years in, I'm here. Parachut.
Yeah.
It's a digital insurance company. It's an insurtech company. We specialize in goods insurance. So basically, we want to insure everybody's phones, tablets, computers, or their washing machine, if they prefer to. We're ready to cover it.
Yeah.
Product itself is a subscription-based product where actually people buy the coverage and they can manage everything fully digitally. Now, that being said, that's not our only product focus. We actually have other products that, for example, a mechanical insurance for your car. So if you get a breakdown or you need assistance, we got you covered.
Yeah.
Or even we also are developing a personal cyber threat insurance product that's called Cyber, and that can cover any risks involved with identity theft.
Great. Very useful in today's world.
Yes, we think so too. We want to market that soon. Actually, it's a newer product in our portfolio.
And Borislav, just so I can properly understand, would you consider yourself to be a B2B2C company? Are you embedding your product through partners, and then the ultimate products are for consumers, right?
Yes. So we are actually both a B2B2C and a B2C company.
You're going direct and through partners. Okay.
Yes, that has been historical. Actually, Parachut and Advice exists for about 15 years now.
Super.
Or even a bit more if we go into the annals of our insurance brokerage history. So over the years, we have developed both models with different success. But in fact, we are at the moment, we're about 50-50.
Great. Well, it does make sense then. So you've got a pretty strong brand there with Parachut. That you've obviously invested in and developed, and I guess what is a good bit of the coverage then also for the devices, phones and that kind of thing, or some of it.
The products actually they cover different categories of devices. Now, of course, the biggest part is mobile phones, because everybody has one or two in their pocket.
Yeah.
But again, when I said we would cover your washing machine, I wasn't joking, because we do cover that. You can add it as a customer. You can add it, and we're happy to cover that. Now, probably it's time to open a bracket here and say, okay, our markets are in France and in the French overseas territory, and also in Italy. So currently, we're in those two or by extension, free locations. But we are looking to go other places in Europe as well.
Okay. And Borislav, you're based in Sofia, is that correct?
Yes, our technical team is in Bulgaria.
Lovely.
It's spread throughout Bulgaria. Advise the parent company and Parachut, the product. They're based in France
Yes.
with a few offices over in France.
Yep.
And we also have an office in Tunis City in Tunisia. We are
Okay.
in 3 locations at the moment.
And how is
Countries.
your French?
Oh, well, I speak 3 other languages, but not French.
Okay. Okay.
Over
Yeah.
the years, I've developed understanding, let's say, but
Yeah.
I'm not fluent yet. Maybe that's a goal
Yeah.
that I should put.
But it's interesting then, isn't it, that that say a business that's focused on the French market, that they're happy to have their technology team in Bulgaria, and I presume then that you're communicating with the product team through English on calls and things like that usually, or
Yes, we are communicating in English. Of
yep,
course, we do have people here on the, let's say, on PM positions that are fluent French speakers to help
magnifique.
with some of the language barriers. Yes, we do have, but of course, all the documentation, because as we know, software, it's not just code. Unfortunately, for most developers, there's also a lot of documentation
Yes.
is
Well,
actually
yeah,
done in English. The terminology is kept in English, and yeah, that's why we believe that we're fit to be a big international.
super. Now, tell me, what's unique about what you're doing? What helps you to differentiate yourselves in the market, both with the consumers but also with your partners?
First off, products. Again, the idea behind the main idea behind the products, what differentiates them is it's that you don't buy this for a specific device, you buy the coverage. Now, that brings us to the second part, where is that
So-
we believe that everything should be done, or you should at least be able to do it fully digital. So you can buy the product online, manage your personal data, you can manage the devices that are there, you can submit your claim declarations, we're going to review them, communicate back to you through digital channels, and and also we're going to process the claim and give you your money, or send your, let's say if it's a phone, you can send it for reparation, or we can change it. We're doing that fully digitally.
Super.
Now, to be
End to
honest,
end. Yeah.
yes, but
But okay.
there's a but.
There's always a but.
But yes, customers, or at least we have found out that customers actually prefer, or some of our customers, but not a small portion of them, actually prefer a more traditional handling of things. So submitting a claim on the phone or via email, despite
Yes.
having the digital channel that works nicely,
Yeah.
is still a big thing, actually.
Yeah. And that's a thing, Borislav, that I'm hearing speaking to fintech founders, that it's so important to understand the psychology of your customers, and
Yes.
to be able to engage with them in the manner that they like. So, having end-to-end digital, but having, you can get a human voice on, or you can receive emails. So I guess that widens your appeal or your market, or helps with your customer satisfaction.
Well, yes, our approach has always been customer centric. We've always, we strive to be the cool insurer. Okay, we're there for you. Like to be kind of your friend, but through a digital channel. So the one who covers your accidents, let's say, because everybody drops their phone. Again, back on the phones, maybe a bit too
Yeah.
much about phones, but again, everybody has one. So everybody drops their phone and water. How many times have people, bent over from a boat and have their phone fall from the pocket?
Yeah. Happened
Unfortunately,
to me.
more than we care to think of. So we want to be there for our customers, and that's why we extend our customer service. We we are actually running away a bit from a fully robotized uh, customer service model at the moment. because we can do that with the size of the current customer portfolio. It's possible.
Yeah.
Because we want to be closer to the customers.
Excellent. So I've got an idea of where you are right now. Could you give me, where is the business going in the future? Are you, is your are you expanding the services or the markets, or how are you, what's your growth strategy?
In general, our mid to long term strategy is actually to jump to other countries in Europe as well.
Okay.
We would like to go to other
Great.
markets with their specific. That's business wise. Technology wise, we're actually currently writing down the specifications and clearing them for a new version of our back office systems. This is so because, again, we exist for a bit
Yes.
around 15 years.
Yeah.
And the current IT backend has been developed over the span of 14 of those years.
Yes.
A lot of changes, a lot of refactoring, but the base technology is now dated.
Yeah.
And our biggest investment this and next year is actually going to be our new back office. I can call it a CRM, but
Yes.
it's a
Yeah.
custom CRM with all the needed integrations. But yeah, that's what we're doing.
Wow,
technology-wise.
that would be a big change. And I suppose you've got something that's very functionally rich, but maybe that technology debt builds up over time.
Yes, basically we have. That's true. That's true. But the main problem is actually the underlying technology and architecture. That it's not so easily changeable to
Yes.
adapt to contemporary needs. But yes, indeed, we do have lots of functions that were used over the years,
Yeah.
but are not now. And because we also have a continuous update policy for our servers, containers, and software that's used in even in the applications, is getting harder and harder to cope with that.
Yeah. And
Technically speaking, we use a lot of automation for static analysis
yeah.
to actually maintain the base versions of the language
Okay.
contemporary.
And Borislav, without getting too technical, what's the direction of travel? So is the original platform built on, is it on C# or on Java or
Oh no, we're
no
very web. The web is our home. So actually, we are the platform is PHP
PHP? Yeah.
and JavaScript. Yeah, PHP
Yes.
and JavaScript.
Yeah.
Mainly, there are some components in other languages, Go,
Yes.
that need to be
Okay.
very fast. And
And
we also
where?
like Postgre
Yeah.
as a database.
And where do you think you'll go to then with with the new architecture? I take it you're reimagining the next generation of the platform. It's
Yes,
cloud native
architecturally,
for,
yes.
yeah.
Indeed, we're going to stick to the core languages in our platform.
Yes.
We are changing the architectural model a bit and
Yep.
the deployment strategy. But in general, it's going to be again the PHP on
Yep.
the server, client front end fully with JavaScript frameworks,
Yes.
fully React, of course. The one bit that we haven't actually decided yet is for the mobile applications. Do we want to go native
Right.
or not?
Yeah.
But that's in discussion.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's going to be a mixed, not a fully microservices based approach because it doesn't make sense for us. But yeah, we're going to have a monolith that
Yes.
handles the core functionalities that make sense to be in a monolith, and we're going to have a bunch of services around that
Yep.
that handle specifics that make sense to be isolated in their own services.
Very good. Very good. And I suppose that brings me on, onto the next topic, which is, I suppose, AI. I know that you have elements of AI in your operations already. And yeah, so maybe could you talk about what you're doing with AI currently? And I know you mentioned that you're thinking about, deploying GenAI in your product roadmap as well.
Yeah, so we are actually looking into a lot of things with AI at the moment, but processing a lot of documents as every insurance company does,
Yes.
and actually storing them for years because there are laws that oblige us to store customer information years after they terminate. It was obvious for us that that LLMs in general could help in that processing. So the
Yes.
first thing we did early on, and we actually still delving into it deeper and deeper, is to use LMs and image recognition to process the initial step of the claim declaration. So we actually
Yes.
internally, we separate the claim management process into two steps. So you have the
Yes.
claim declaration,
Yep.
which is a point where the customer declares the claim and gathers all the required information. And only after everything that's required is there is an actual claim created where it goes to a separate management or it could be an
Right.
external entity managing that depending
So
on the
there's a
contract.
kind of the claim arrives in and there's some triage to see, okay, is
Yes,
this a
even
valid
even at the
claim? Yeah.
status, the state of the claim declaration, yes, we're trying to
Yeah.
integrate that. We're actually testing it. I can't say it's fully integrated at the moment. We have a bit of mixed results, but
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
this basically.
I think there's a lot of opportunity in Gen AI, but there's also a lot of technical challenges to deploy it at scale. Reliability, hallucinations, data security,
Yes, and yeah.
integration, and so forth. But we've seen, like you're saying, document ingestion, indexing, summarization. All
And
of these can be
categorization.
helpful. Yeah.
We use
Um,
it, of course, in our day-to-day work. We do use GenAI.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, as developers, it helps a lot,
Yes.
especially if you know what you're doing and
Yeah.
what to ask.
And
If you give the right
is that
prompts,
with
that's good.
is that with the GitHub Copilot, or what do you find best for the developers?
Actually, there's a disparity. So part of the team is using Copilot,
Yeah.
and what we tested different. I was also using JetBrains AI
Yes.
solution. I've been testing some models locally myself because I believe that uh, your AI running in the cloud is not your AI, basically.
Yes.
And we're also looking into actually switching editor
Okay. And
to.
Borislav, by saying that your AI running in the cloud is not your AI, do I get a sense that you would be concerned about your IP being exposed to a Copilot, and or is that I'm just trying to pick up
No,
on what your
it's
concerns
more
are.
of a political principle than concerns. No, because if our AI is running in the cloud, it's gonna be a private cloud anyway.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be a public cloud because
Sure. Yeah.
we handle too much personal data to actually run on.
Yeah. 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 No, for
But
sure.
yeah, I mean, personally, I believe that you should be able to run your models locally.
Yeah.
Computers are not that far now. I mean, yes, you can't have the processing power of a huge cluster. But for most things, you can get close to even with like 96 gigs of RAM. You can have the full model
Yeah.
inside.
Yeah. No, exactly. And there's these pre-trained open source
Yeah,
LLMs, bring them into the
yeah,
private
that are
cloud.
very very
Yeah.
accessible
Yeah.
now, and yeah,
Yeah.
they're even. I mean, it's even there is automation for installing them. There is something called Rama, which is an OCI, Open Container Initiative project, where you can just pick a model and it will run it in containers on your local machine
Yeah.
quite easily.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's fantastic. And yeah, I mean that's certainly the way to go. We've seen also where it can make sense to tune or to train those pre-trained models maybe on the legislation regarding insurance handling in France, or maybe based on the consumer behavior that you've had through your different channels, so that you get something that's very well attuned to or to the tasks
Oh,
that you're
we
dealing
do
with.
have some experience there as well. For example, our support bot, we're training it with lots of information, but also our general terms and conditions.
Yeah.
And we hit a problem when we have similar products,
Yes.
but with different terms in actuality. And moreover, when you have an old product that was sold and you have still active customers on it, but we moved
Right.
on to the next gen, it's a
Yeah.
bit different and it's called the same. So it generated more hallucinations. But I'm
Yeah. Wow.
possible
I
that
can
that's
imagine.
actually a problem of the training.
Yeah.
Then, yeah.
So okay, so and there is so there could be your terms and conditions are evolving over time, maybe responding to
Yeah, small
changes in the
changes,
market or
but yeah, they are.
yeah, and that okay. So there's an extra degree of complexity then, isn't there? That
Yes.
yeah, yeah,
When
okay.
let's say it's 10 pages and
Yes.
we actually changed the 10 lines,
Yeah.
and but it's still different and it has a different marketing and actually general product vibe.
Yes.
So the AI cannot easily distinguish between that,
Yeah.
the OM. So it needs special attention to. Actually, basically, we are you to solve that. We are at a few steps in the customer questionnaire. So the AI asks more. So, okay, when did you buy this? Which actually product version is? It's a bit harder for the customers, unfortunately.
Yes.
An extra step,
Yeah.
but it's actually
It it pays.
filters the funnel.
Yeah, that you're saying, okay, this is an extra step, this is more hassle, but it's going to mean that we're going to be able to
Yes.
avoid mistakes that could happen down the line. You don't want to say, oh yeah, you are covered, and then discover actually, sorry, you were on an earlier version, this isn't covered, and then that's a big problem down the line. But you cut it off because you checked earlier. So is that it?
I personally also don't want to overhype it. I mean,
Yeah,
a lot of people are just using the AI, LOM terms
yeah,
loosely and just adding them after their company name. So
yeah,
obviously we're not Parachut AI yet,
yeah,
so
yeah,
we don't believe in that. But we want to use what works for us and for our customers. What
yeah.
makes it easier for everybody, not just with that.
No, no. Look, and that's what we're looking for. I fully agree. I think that if you can do a task with technology, use the simplest technology you can.
Yeah.
Don't over-engineer it. But at the same time, on the Fintech Frontiers podcast, we're also looking for what are fintechs actually succeeding on doing that's helping create value for their customers or for their business with Gen AI. So it is an interesting discussion to parse between those.
Yeah.
All right. Well, look, I suppose to wrap it up, we could talk about the next 12, 24 months. Now, you've mentioned to me that you've got a huge kind of back end re-engineering project.
Yeah, back end, front end
Yeah, and
afterwards.
the
Yeah.
front end, the whole thing. So that's going to be massive. It'll, I guess, require a lot of investment, and it's not just something for the technology people. I guess it's for the product people as well to try and figure out what it is that they want. Is it?
Yeah. So of course, with any such project, come a few main things. So um, technically, we need to engineer it. We need to have the best cut down version.
Yeah.
We want of what we need. So basically, we want to build more or less exactly what we need, but without the added weight, let's say,
Yes.
to it, and it must also be easily extendable and changeable over time. Because
Yeah.
when we invest in such a huge upgrade, we'll be looking for it to live to the full software lifecycle. Normally,
Yeah.
for web-based platforms, it's about 10 years,
Yeah.
give or take. So actually, this investment it would span us and bring us in the to the decade and over. Business wise, of course, we're again trying to dump things down, remove all the terminology or processes that are not used anymore, but are burdening the business people. And of course, this means that everybody in the company will have to learn this. there's the added bonus of after a successful launch, they will have to actually use for some time probably both systems.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
You've
Yes.
got to keep the lights on your existing
Yes.
system. You've got to
Yes.
design the new one. And did I hear you say, Borislav, that you're figuring out some things you're going to build, some things you're going to buy, that you're going to, you're going to bring.
Yes, we are evaluating that indeed.
Yep,
We are evaluating what things we can build and which we can buy.
yep.
It really depends on the utility, how much sense it makes for us. We're not against that. We don't think that we would develop the best of everything. It just has to make sense technology-wise and business-wise to integrate something.
Good. Very good. Well, exciting times ahead. And really, thanks so much for, I suppose, giving me a look under the bonnet from the CTO's perspective on a very progressive insurtech. Fascinating conversation, and thanks for sharing all that.
Yes, it was a pleasure for me to be your guest as well today. And yeah, if you want to talk more, just hit me up.
Great. Thanks, Borislav.
Thank you, Stefan.
All right, very good.